Well, more than 50 years ago, 7 college students set out on an evening boat ride, never to be seen again. Several of those students called the inland Northwest their home. Their disappearance sparked all sorts of theories. Most of their immediate family members have passed away, and information has been hard to come by. But there's still great interest in solving this case, from family, friends, even people who never even heard about it until now. Here's Greg Copeland with our Seattle sister station with this Unsolved Northwest.
We don't know what ended up happening to these college kids, or where it happened, where the boat is, or any information.
They all would be prominent citizens and have been very successful with their lives by now if they'd have not gotten on this sailboat.
This is how small the actual case file actually is. Other than that, there's not much to go on.
They were going to go down, take the sailboat out, and come back. And that was it. It was like they just vanished.
Well, it took some digging, but this is where the mystery began all those years ago, the Breakwater Marina in Tacoma, although back then it was called Mogene's Public Dock. 7 college students in town for a conference came down here to go for a short evening boat ride, an hour and a half to 2 hours. Some reports had them possibly heading up around Vashon Island, others up towards Seattle, neither of which is possible in that amount of time. So where did they go?
You know, a 22-foot sailboat with 7 people in it at night, probably just running on an engine and no sail.
It wasn't like they were going to be irresponsible. So right away, that didn't quite fit. You know, of course, one of those big questions when you're talking about college kids is, were they drinking? And no, they were not. They were not drinking. And, you know, I would stand by that to my dying breath.
My name is Gary Libby. I was fraternity brothers with Jim Dickinson and Brian Williams, who were lost at sea in 1971. Jim Dickinson was from Pullman. His dad was a professor at WSU. We were in the same pledge class. That's how I met him. Smart guy, quiet, but real smart, real sharp, and could always find an answer to something. And Brian Williams, the older guy, he was a really gentle giant. He's a big guy, 6'4" maybe, or bigger. I knew them all 5 on this page. Brian Wilson, Robert Sherwood, Gary Oman. These 2 young men were in my same fraternity, whereas these other 3 I just knew from being a part of the Intercollegiate Nights program. This just talks about the 5 from WSU, but there were 2 more. There were 7 altogether.
My name is Wes Sodorf. My half-brother is Dennis Newton. My brother was a bit of a brainiac. In today's terms, we would probably discuss him as a nerd, his ability to learn, and had that photographic memory that he could look at something and it was history. He had it memorized. Time's a healer. Been healed a lot. But you still remember your brother.
I can picture her just as clear as day. Really a nice gal. very outgoing. You know, I think most of us as duchesses were outgoing people, liked people. My name is Melanie Haycock. I was supposed to be on that boat. I remember talking to her, and it just broke my heart because she was a lovely, lovely lady. She had short, curly blonde hair. And so I thought, well, she'll be able to do this and be ready in the morning.
The next day, we got calls from people that said, hey, the guys went out sailing last night and never came back.
Then the alarm was sounded.
The Coast Guard was out, said it was one of the biggest searches in history at that point. Several of our fraternity members went over to Tacoma and helped search the beaches. But, you know, day after day after day after day, nothing came back.
7 kids, a boat, no oil slick, no mask, no debris, no coolers, none of anything that they took on that trip with them ever appeared. And to this day, it has not appeared.
It'd be awesome to have a closure, but I think we know what happened. And well, it's really speculation as to what they did because nobody knows. Nobody will ever know.
Is this one you think will ever be solved?
No, I don't think there will ever be closure for these families.